First, here is a summary explanation. The United States has imposed an enormous tariff of 125% on China, effectively starting a tariff war. Alongside this, China, no longer willing to tolerate the situation, has even mentioned the possibility of a military invasion of Taiwan and has simultaneously escalated the threat level by releasing videos of its invasion preparations. Hello, this is ChoWorld. We are currently delivering an urgent news flash. On the 9th, mutual tariffs set by the Donald Trump administration were imposed, resulting in a 104% tariff on Chinese goods entering the United States. And as of the 10th, a record-breaking tariff of 125% has been applied. In response to this so-called tariff attack by the United States, China has chosen to resist, and Chinese language media are putting forward the theory of an invasion within the year, suggesting that China could militarily attack Taiwan within the next 6 months, or even sooner. Amidst internal and external crises, the Chinese Communist Party is exploring measures to overcome the situation, as claims from US intelligence agencies and others suggesting that a military invasion of Taiwan could be carried out before October this year are spreading within China. In particular, compared to the US CIA's prediction in 2022 that the possible timing for an invasion of Taiwan would be in 2027, current observations suggest a far more radical and urgent situation. The Trump administration launched a tariff war against the world from the beginning of its second term, and in particular, it imposed full-scale pressure focused on China. Instead of negotiating, China implemented immediate retaliatory tariffs, and when it countered with the same rate in response to the 34% mutual tariff announced by the US on the 4th, Trump then imposed an additional 50% tariff, thus escalating tensions between the two sides to an extreme degree. This tariff war goes beyond a mere economic dispute. It is a significant event that reflects changes in the international trade order and the impact on a wide range of goods, from consumer products to raw materials and intermediate goods, that deserves investors' attention. Between the 7th and 8th, major Chinese language media outlets repeatedly reported that China is toying with the option of invading Taiwan in response to the US tariff attack, thereby emphasizing the possibility of Taiwan's invasion as a military and diplomatic variable. One of the sources for this report is an article from the renowned American military journal 1945, published on the 5th, warning that China could launch a military invasion of Taiwan within the next 6 months, or even sooner. Retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Chuck DeVore provided detailed analysis in the article, stating that China's invasion of Taiwan could unfold in 3 scenarios: an island blockade, rapid occupation, or simultaneous attacks. Moreover, on China's social media platform WeChat, the Chinese version of Messenger, claims of an early invasion of Taiwan are being shared at an unusually rapid pace without censorship from the authorities, implying active internal discussions on military strategy. China's military pressure targeting Taiwan is gradually intensifying. Last month, Chinese military aircraft entered Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, ADIZ, 311 times, while on the 1st, for the first time since October last year, a blockade exercise around Taiwan was conducted. Furthermore, since last January, undersea cables in the Taiwan region have been repeatedly cut, and last month incidents such as the collision between a Taiwanese naval landing ship and a Chinese fishing vessel occurred, along with other suspected cases of Chinese operations threatening Taiwan, clearly indicating an escalation in technical and military confrontations. In this situation, the United States Indo-Pacific Command has defined this series of military activities as a unification war rehearsal, and Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense has designated the calm months of April and October as periods of heightened alert, maintaining a state of thorough preparedness. On the 8th, Chinese political commentator Wang Guizhong, residing in the United States, criticized the Trump administration's hardline response on social media by stating that the United States and China have moved beyond mere verbal sparring to enter the stage of an economic hot war. He further emphasized Taiwan must safeguard its interests through thorough strategic preparation and social cohesion in a situation swept up in an international economic war, thereby suggesting the need for robust political and economic crisis response in Taiwan. Analysts suggest that for President Xi Jinping, this US-China trade war is not merely an economic dispute, but a political struggle aimed at upholding the authority of the Chinese Communist Party, and that it could be used as a negotiating chip against the United States. China appears likely to consider a military invasion as an effective political breakthrough to prevent domestic unrest amid economic difficulties, such as sluggish domestic demand and falling real estate prices, in preparation for a long-term confrontation with the United States. However, in the event of a military invasion of Taiwan, it is highly likely that China's national strength would be fatally depleted, and the Trump administration's ambiguous stance on the Taiwan issue serves as a key factor, prompting China to make cautious decisions. Meanwhile, the United States is taking multifaceted measures, such as strengthening security cooperation with Japan and the Philippines and establishing an immediate response system in the Taiwan Strait to contain China. Recently, the US military has forward-deployed intermediate-range missiles near Taiwan, and the Philippines, which has maintained close cooperative relations with the United States, is also preparing for military intervention aimed at China under the pretext of protecting its citizens. At the end of March, joint naval exercises conducted by the United States, Japan, and the Philippines led some analysts to suggest that the possibility of establishing a mini-NATO in the Pacific has become evident. Taiwanese security experts assess that China is more likely to use threat tactics as a negotiating chip, rather than launching a full-scale military invasion of Taiwan, while maintaining a stance based on the status quo. Within China, the emerging narrative of a Taiwan invasion is interpreted as part of a psychological warfare and propaganda operation aimed at securing a favorable negotiating position with the United States. On the 8th, The Economist of the United Kingdom presented an analysis stating that China is waiting for the time when the United States can no longer cope with the inflation and economic discontent brought about by tariffs, and forecasted that this situation provides significant implications for investors. US imports of Chinese products include not only raw materials and intermediate goods, but also a wide range of consumer goods such as clothing, household items, and toys. The imposition of a 125% tariff this time is expected to directly impact American consumers economically in the future. Thus, the backlash from the mutual tariff war may lead to negative impacts, such as a sharp increase in consumer prices and a decline in employment within the United States, while the Chinese leadership is closely monitoring these vulnerabilities in the American economy and seeking opportunities. On the 8th, Huayuan Tangtian, a social media account under China's state-owned CCTV, emphasized that, of course, we have not closed the door to negotiations, stressing that China, the world's largest trading nation, is responding decisively without showing any weakness. Subsequently, Huayuan Tangtian analyzed that in key industrial sectors where the United States aims to challenge China, including semiconductors, electric vehicles, high-speed rail, robotics, shipbuilding, new energy, biotechnology, aviation, space, and agricultural machinery, China has already secured a leading position or is making decisive breakthroughs. At present, we are in a period full of uncertainties. The US-China tariff war goes beyond a mere economic dispute, revealing a multifaceted hegemony competition spanning international politics, military affairs, technology, and investment. Truly, the situation is evolving into one where its conclusion is completely unpredictable, so please exercise caution. This is not a recommendation to buy or sell. Please subscribe and like. It was ChoWorld. Thank you.